A year ago today, I was lying in a bed in St Thomas's Hospital on the 8th floor overlooking Parliament, having just had a successful surgery for the removal of my breast cancer. And my sister said to me, in a year's time, Sadie, we are going to be lying on a beach drinking champagne and just enjoying being alive. So that's exactly where I am today, enjoying myself, being happy that I'm alive, and I hope drinking copious amounts of champagne. I've asked two very special people to help me out today. Judith Stichenhoff, who is an associate at dRMM. dRMM is a practice that I founded 20 years ago with Alex de Rijker and Philip Marsh. We have been passionately trying to create innovative, high quality, socially useful architecture during that time. I'm incredibly proud that both of our Sterling shortlisted schemes are in London. One is a primary school in Clapham, and the other, most recently, is the first phase of housing in the Elephant and Castle. So Trafalgar Place is, I think, an extraordinary new housing development, which not only shows that you can have extraordinarily high quality places to live, but you can also combine that with a public realm that gives back to the local community. dRMM have been incredibly supportive of all my extracurricular activities, as has the other person that I want to introduce you to, although you all know her, and that's Lucy Musgrave, who will be picking up my award. Lucy has been my great friend, my best friend and supporter over the last few years, and she is an inspiration and my mentor, so entirely appropriate for her to pick up my award today. I think if there's anything that I've learnt over the last year, it's that one shouldn't be afraid, and not being afraid to ask the exam question, the simple question. And when you're surrounded, as I am, in the roles that I do, so I sit on the National Infrastructure Commission, the Thames Estuary Growth Commission, I chair the Independent Design Panel for High Speed 2, and I'm a professor at Westminster. All of those things need, I think, an independent voice, and a voice that asks government in particular why so often kind of people and place aren't thought about. And as an industry, as a creative industry, one thing that we're incredibly good at is thinking about the future, because we're innovative and we come at things laterally. Designers are, well, design isn't just about aesthetics, it's about problem solving. And those are the kinds of people that you need really early on in a process, be it policy making, be it building. So for me, my advocacy of design, and to make sure that everybody understands that not only the fact that things need to be properly built, yes, they need to work, yes, but they need to look good. It's entirely acceptable that we should want to live in a beautiful environment, and I think all of those things are possible, but they're only possible if you think about them early on. So we don't want to tag on sustainability, we don't want to tag on the fact that suddenly we have to think about something and retrofit it, and we, I think, can help ourselves as a country by allowing those questions to be asked right at the beginning. And more often than not, when I talk about design and I talk about the importance of good design, everybody says to me, because generally they're engineers, apologies to those in the room, they say, but Sadie, it costs extra, it takes longer. And the truth is it doesn't. The truth is that if you think about design early on, if you integrate design early on, it doesn't cost money, it saves money, because it helps you anticipate those things, not only the problems, but the opportunities. And I think if we can learn to take risks, we can learn to put our head above the parapet, then we will start to reimagine our built environment, which is, I think, one of the most extraordinary opportunities that we have. I'm going to leave you with a small anecdote from my last holiday, which was very recently, so I don't generally go on so many holidays, but I'm just back from Bermuda watching the America's Cup, which has two things that I love most, which is sailing and sailors. And the Kiwis won, and the Kiwis beat the Americans in a boat that cost £50 million as opposed to £150 million. And they won in a boat that contained 3 cyclists rather than 3 sailors. And they quickly, right at the beginning, decided that they didn't have the kind of money and resource that the Americans had, but what they did have was innovation, lateral thinking, and the ability to take risks, and they didn't care what people thought about them. They didn't care that they had 3 cyclists on board rather than sailors. I'm not going to go into why and how they won the cup, because that's something I would urge you all to go and have a look at, but they did, and they won it, as I said, because they weren't afraid of taking risks, and they were innovators. So I would hope that perhaps the winning of my cup today has something to do with the fact that I'm happy to take risks, and if there's anything that I can continue to do for our industry, it's to remind people to advocate to those in the powers that be, that design really does matter, and that it matters that we think about building a future city that all generations can enjoy. So thank you again, thank you to the NLA, thank you to Peter. I hope you have a fantastic lunch, and I can't pretend that I'm not sorry to be with you, but I'm sure I will see many of you soon. Thank you.